ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Hare Krishna, welcome everyone for our weekly Srimad Bhagavatam life lessons class, and we are on our second season of, of our blockbuster release of Srimad Bhagavatam, and this season we are discussing the churning of great learning, which is the Samudra Manthan Leela, the churning of the Samudra of the milk ocean, which is yielding great learning for all of us. And this episode comes in the eighth canto, chapter number 5 to chapter number 12. Currently, we are reading chapter number 8. Mhm. Just a quick recap of what all we have seen in the previous chapters. Mhm. So, it begins with the Devatas led by Indra disrespecting Durvasa Muni, and as a result of the offense, losing all their powers, whole and soul, followed by them being guilty, feeling guilty and morose, approaching Brahmaji. Brahmaji, as an ideal guru, directs them to the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu, upon hearing their plea and their uh, situation, he suggests to them that the time is not favoring you. Hmm? And so you must now make a truce with the demons. Right now, even if you, with all your might, try to fight out the demons, your fight is not just against the demons, it is against the time factor. No one can win over the time factor. Kalosmi lokakshay pravriddha Krishna says that as the Kala, as a time factor, I destroy everything. So Lord says that it's time for you to listen to the time factor. Mhm. And so they made truce with the demons, and Lord gave the plan that do this churning of the milk ocean, which will yield the nectar, and by that nectar you will become powerful and immortal. They followed through with the instruction. Bali Maharaj was approached and he agreed to the proposal. They started off to bring the churning rod, that is Mandar Parvat. They got crushed under it. Lord Vishnu, uh, who who knew from the beginning, very beginning, that ये इनसे ना हो पाएगा, right? Right? He came in and he rescued all of them from that landslide, so to speak, and brought that Mandar Parvat on the Garuda, and along with all of these devatas and demons, brought them to the milk ocean, and there summoned Vasuki to be the churning rod, churning rope. Uh, Vasuki came in, Garuda was sent back, hmm, sensing their enmity, sensing their long-standing enmity. So the churning began, but the mountain was sinking. It needed a hub. So uh, Lord again intervened as Kurma, hmm, and he became the hub for this entire mountain to be rested so that the churning could be done smoothly. And Lord took it just as a play, as a sport. It was just some slight scratching on his back, which relieved the itch. So we also discussed that how we all may have an itch to do something great. But if that itch to do something great is dovetailed for the mission of the Lord, hmm, our itch is anyways relieved. But at the same time, we get the satisfaction of contributing to a great mission and a great purpose. So that is what Lord is teaching us through His playful pastime. And further, the churning continued. The devatas, demons, they were losing their powers, getting exhausted. By the way, the demons, they wanted to choose the head of Vasuki, not knowing that how much poison, fumes, and smoke is going to, you know, completely burn them out. So they they didn't realize that they are going to become burnout cases. But as is the nature of this world, that people want to mm, people want to always take the role of leadership, to be in the limelight, not realizing the kind of mm, the kind of problems that it brings along with it. So this is how they took the head, and later they were in a lot of trouble. Nonetheless, Lord Vishnu, knowing that all of them are exhausting their powers, he incarnated, he actually infused them with each of their fuels. The demigods, they are fueled by goodness, the demons by passion, and Vasuki by ignorance. So Lord fueled each of them with their type of fuel. And so we discussed that we need to fuel ourselves with goodness. Hmm? Because that fuel is a sustainable fuel, and we discussed that for each of these goodness, passion, ignorance, what are the pros and cons. Yes. Yeah, so goodness, we discussed, it's like the solar energy, sustainable energy. Whatever is done with goodness can be sustained over a period of time. If you do something in the mode of goodness, you might not you will not be a shooting star. You will be a steady star, right? Mode of passion is like the fossil fuel. There is it is a non-replenishable fuel. It's an exhaustible fuel. You have limited amount of passion. You begin with a lot of passion, your ambitions, you begin with a lot of passion, you begin the new year with a lot of passion and ambition, but then somewhere down the line, your fossil fuel of passion is exhausted, and then you are no longer motivated. And ignorance is the energy locked up in the polluted wastes of electronics products and plastics and all of these things, all the global warming gases, which are which are not productive but destructive, right? So we discussed that we need to fuel our endeavors with the fuel of goodness, and nonetheless, whatever fuel we want, it will be supplied by the Lord only. So with this fuel, with this vigor, they again started, and Lord personally supported the mountain from the top as the thousand-handed incarnation also. Now, as this churning was vigorously proceeding, the first thing which came out was the halahal poison. Hmm. And we discussed that the poison and nectar both reside simultaneously hmm, in the same herbs which are cast into the ocean. But it takes an expert to separate the two. Yojaka tatra durlabha. So this poison was extracted first from the ocean and from these herbs. So any endeavor we do, it will have both faults and good qualities. Just because some endeavor has fault doesn't mean that we give it up. Hmm. That's the law of nature, that every endeavor will have certain positive and negative. Whatever is ordained for us as per our dharma, we must do this despite the faults. A Kshatriya dharma has faults, a Brahmana dharma has faults, a Vaishya dharma has faults, and a Shudra dharma has faults. The process of engaging in your dharma will eliminate the faults. Hmm. So, so that is something which is worth contemplating on. And Lord Shiva, as representing the Guru, he takes up this poison, which comes in, and he takes permission of Bhavani to to accept this poison for showing compassion to all living entities. Pranay swe pranina panti sadhava shanabhangure baddhavaireshu bhuteshu mohiteshu atmamaya. That exalted, liberated devotees, they realize that this material body is anyways shanabhangur, it's anyways temporary. Whatever life we have, it must be utilized for doing welfare, spiritual welfare of all living entities, even at the cost of personal harm, even at the cost of personal discomfort. Hmm. So this is what we saw, and now after this entire poison was being drunk by Lord Shiva, some drops of it were trickling down, and they were lapped up by the scorpions and the snakes and other species who have fangs, poisonous fangs. So here we saw that in any in this entire endeavor was done to obtain nectar. Hmm. Everyone was there, out and out, looking for nectar. But even in such a great enterprise, there are individuals who are interested only in poison. So we reflecting on our own personal life and being in a spiritual organization, everyone has come to a spiritual organization to ISKCON for getting nectar of Krishna Prem. But then somewhere our mind has tendency mm, to tune in for any poison. Oh, oh, what about that senior devotee? Oh, he has that fault, those flaws. Oh, management, in the management, there are certain issues going on. So there is this tendency to lap in, tune into poison, right? Although it is a trickle, but foregoing the great amount of nectar which is being produced, if we are inclined and attracted towards such trickles of poison, we should realize that probably the scorpion and snake within us is showing its, you know, hood, right? So we should discourage ourselves from this kind of tendency. So this is what we discussed in the previous session and all the previous sessions, just a run through of all that has happened. Now, what is unfolding in this chapter is something very interesting. So this is the chapter called The Churning of the Milk Ocean. So the churning of the milk ocean, while this entire episode is a churning of the milk ocean, why is this chapter called Churning of the Milk Ocean? Especially because most of the items, most of the products which come out from this churning are described in this chapter. So that's the reason. So let's begin with verse 1, number 1, text 1. Shri Shuka Vacha पीते गरे वृशंकेण प्रीतास्ते मरदानवा ममंथुस्तरसा सिंधुम हविर्धानि ततो भवत्. Shukadeva Goswami continued, upon Lord Shiva's drinking the poison, both the demigods and demons, being very pleased, began to churn the ocean with renewed vigor. As a result of this, there appeared a cow known as Surabhi. Hmm. After the poison, the first product to come out, thing to come out is mother cow, mother Surabhi. O King Parikshit, great sages who were completely aware of the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, Brahmavadina, took charge of that Surabhi cow which produced all yogurt, milk, and ghee absolutely necessary for offering oblations into the fire. They did this just for the sake of pure ghee, which they wanted for the performance of sacrifices to elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems up to Brahmaloka. Hmm? these are the first two verses and which talk about the first product which comes out is mother cow, Surbi, who is um, the value of whom is realized by these great sages who know that the cow will produce milk, milk will yield butter, curd, butter, and then ghee. And without ghee, they can't perform their sacrifices, yajnas. And without yajnas, they cannot appease the Supreme Lord and the Devatas. And that is the means for elevation to higher realms of consciousness, right? So there's a lot to uncover here in this regard. Now, first thought which ran into my mind was that they have who are the stakeholders who are actually doing all the hard work here? The demons and the devatas. Both parties are doing equal hard work. They are the one who are sweating and toiling hard. But the first meaningful and beautiful thing which comes out, cow, is just left for the sages, is given out in charity to the sages. Hmm? They don't stake claim कि भाई इतना मेहनत कर रहे लेके कोई और जा रहा है, right? Why was this? Previously, Lord said that you don't take anything. Yes, Lord told the devatas that Shantavya, Sarvatha, that you will be able to accomplish everything by peace, by being peaceful and holding on, right? So that instruction was there, that was given to the devatas. But nonetheless, on a consensus, the devatas and demons they left the cow for two reasons. One is that probably they didn't realize the value of the cow. They thought ordinary animal. Hmm? We are interested in nectar. But it is the Brahmavadina, the learned sages, who realize the value of the cow. That you guys, you will do so much hard work, so much labor, and ultimately attain nectar so that you can be instated in the heavenly planets. Just by the ghee which will get from the cow, by performing yajnas, we can directly get the heavenly planets, with a much less tedious path. So the verse number 2, it says, Devayanasya, Yagyasya Devayanasya. So the ghee through the process of yagya is a Devayan. It's a spaceship. The process of yagya is a spaceship which can take one to higher planets. So talking of spaceships and rockets, it is not something new. The form of these spaceships and rockets was more sublime and subtle in the previous yugas. So first thing is the sages realized the value of the cow, so they asked for it. And on the other hand, the Devdas and demons probably didn't realize the values, but at the same time, they had the ethics and ethos of charity. Krishna says in the Gita, Yagya Dana Tapaschaiva Natyajam Dharma Evasa, that Yagya Dan and Tapa should never be given up. They should always be performed. So they were performing a big enterprise, doing a big enterprise, engaging in a big enterprise. However, they had the ethics of charity built into their ethos. Yes, demons also. Bali Maharaj is the one who gave charity to Amandev, right? To sages. That is that is the ethics, because of which they get power. Hmm? So any enterprise, hmm, which is set into motion should have social and spiritual responsibility. So the corporate social responsibility is not a new funda. So here The first thing they are doing is giving in charity. The cow, which is a Kamadhenu, which can yield all, fulfill all your desires, that cow they are giving in charity. So this is a lead or a clue to a reference for corporate social responsibility and corporate spiritual responsibility. That every enterprise should have an element of this. Hmm. Because these sages, when they are facilitated, they work for the welfare of the entire world by spreading spiritual consciousness, God consciousness. And that is the way for peace and prosperity, right? So if every organization, every enterprise absorbs this kind of mindset of charity to the cause of spiritual advancement of the society, then the society would have much more peace and prosperity. Okay, so so far so good. Now, another thing in this regard is that while the others had to wait till the end for nectar, the sages, their business was done right in the beginning. What they wanted, they obtained as the very first thing, isn't it? The demons and devatas, they had to go through a lot of ordeal to come to the stage where they could produce nectar, and then even then after that there was a lot of tussle to get nectar, a lot of disappointment, appointment, disappointment, all of those things happened. But sages got it right in the beginning and without any difficulty. So the nature's way, God's way is such that your essential needs are fulfilled by nature without much uh, ugra karma endeavor. Nature provides just to keep the body and soul together for your spiritual advancement. The necessities for the entire civilization world can be easily fulfilled. But when we get enamored by luxuries and comforts and glitter and glamour, that's when it takes the toll. That's when it takes us to go into the WWW mode. Work, 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 worry, 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 weep, weep, weep. That is the WWW mode. There's so much of hard work foaming to the mouth. But as far as the basic essential necessities are concerned, God has provided for all species of life. What to speak of humans? So these are some things that the cow is such a valuable asset to the human society. Prabhupada writes in length. He says that these cows are the Lord's pet animals. From the Surbi cows, one can take as much milk as one needs, and one may milk these cows as many times as he desires. Milk is necessary for performance of yajna. Sages know how to use milk to elevate human society to perfection of life. Since cow protection is recommended in everywhere in the Shastras, the Brahmavadis took charge of the Surbi cow, in which the demons were not very interested. Right? So today's day and age, the cow is a swear word. Hindus are called Gomutra drinkers. That's a jibe at Hindus, but they don't realize what is the value of the cow. So this is from the first two verses. Now moving ahead, the third to the seventh verse, they describe other products, byproducts which came about. First came about the white horse called Uchchaishrava, and Bali Maharaj immediately seized it. And Lord motioned to Indra and Devtas, don't contend for the just be at peace. Don't get diverted, right? So Lord cautioned them. Yeah. And next appeared the elephant with the four tusks called Airavat, the white elephant. So first the white horse, and then the white elephant with the four tusks called Airavat appeared. And when this Airavat appeared, and when the Airavat appeared, you know what? The demons wanted to have Airavat also. Yeah. And then Lord had to intervene. Wait a minute, wait a minute. You had your horse. Come on. Let them have the Airavat, you know. Let's have equal distribution of wealth. Hmm? Because equal distribution of labor, there should be equal distribution of wealth also. So, so we like what do we learn from this? That this is nothing new. At the workplace, you will encounter people who want to snatch away all the credit and all the fruits of your of the teamwork which everyone has done. But they want to portray as if this is only me who am doing it, and I should get the credit and I should get the perks for myself. Isn't it? Yes, Paul. It holds true even in New Zealand. University application.
I have not encountered any such. till now.
Okay. Oh, Tanmay, he's also in New Zealand. Fine. But like we pray that you don't encounter ever. But yeah, this is the mentality which is there in the exploitative people that they want to usurp all the credit, and that's what is the Dhritarashtra mentality. Dhrita Rashtra. To usurp the kingdom, usurp the um, share which belongs to others. Whereas the Ishopnishad says, Isha Vasyam idam sarvam yat kinchin jagatyam jagat yena taktena bunjinas ma grida kasya svidhanam. Ma grida, don't snatch away the wealth which has been apportioned for someone else. Hmm? Because God has provided for everyone's need, but not even a single person's greed, because that is limitless. Mhm. So, but here you see the now it is very well understood that there will be such exploitative people, more or less, sooner or later. But what should be our response to them? Should we stoop down to their level of the game where we bicker for okay मैंने किया था तुम तुम कैसे क्रेडिट ले सकते हो तुम कैसे इसका पर्क्स और ये सब ले सकते हो मैं बॉस को बता के रहूंगा one is you stoop down to their level and play their you know dirty sport of politics and dirty yourself. Whereas another way is to be proactive and have to be proactive and have transparency. So the devatas they had transparency with their super boss. They are doing it for Krishna. Krishna से उनका understanding clear था कि this is what we are signed up for, this is what we are doing, and if you sanction, you know, we are, you know, we are not going to cross our limits, right? So rather than fighting it out with these kind of exploitative people, we can ensure clear terms and conditions with the team leader or super boss and have a transparent channel of communication and then let them take the call, right? So this is something which comes to the mind from this where the demons wanted Uchchaishrava also, Airavat also, and whatever comes, they want everything. And now the next thing which comes up is in the verse number 6. Airavat and 16 other elephants also come out. The sixth verse tells that generated thereafter were celebrated gems Kaustubh Mani and Padmarag Mani. Lord Vishnu to decorate his chest desired to possess them. Generated next was the Parijat flower which decorates the celestial planets, which is a desire fulfilling flower, Parijat flower. Now, very interesting. The Supreme Lord, his eternal ornament on his chest is the Kaustubh gem. But here, this Kaustubh gem is coming out from the ocean. and he's accepting it, isn't it? So it is the pastime of the Lord. It is just the pastime of the Lord that actually everything belongs to Him. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the Lord of everything. Matta sarvam pravartate. Ki I am the one who is pervading everything. Everything is my energy. But although everything is his energy, he performs a pastime where he accepts his energy. He accepts his vibhuti. Hmm? Lord Krishna has Rukmini as his eternal consort. But then there is Rukmini Kalyanam or Rukmini Apharanam, right? Lord Krishna has Sri Radha as his eternal consort, or Lord Ram has Sita as his eternal consort. But then there is Sita Swayamvar. How is it? Hmm? Lakshmi, he is going to come. We'll talk about that. So Lord performs a pastime because he doesn't want to give us a feeling that I am a cut above all of you rest. Okay, मेरे पास ये eternal है, तुम लोग सब mortal लोग हो. He wants to just be one amongst us. Okay, I also have parents. I also got born. Janmashtami. You like to celebrate birthdays. मेरा भी मना लो यार. I am one amongst you. He wants to create the sense of accessibility. So he says कि चलो हीरा है सदा के लिए. चलो मैं भी एक ले लेता हूँ. पद्मराग and Kaustubamani. Now, while Lord is accepting this Padmarag and Kaustubamani, the next thing which comes out is Parijat, which he leaves for the heavenly planets. And in the heavenly planets, it is enjoyed by Indra and all the other devatas. Now, what happens when Lord Krishna and Satyabhama visit the Indrapuri, Amravati, to give back the earrings of uh, the mother Aditi, the mother of the devatas, and to give the umbrella of Varuna, उनका ही चोरी किया हुआ चीजें उनको लौटाने गए. और जस्ट सत्यभामा मदर सत्यभामा डिसाइड कि चलो एक वो पारिजात का इतने अच्छे इतने गार्डन में इतने सारे हैं, एक अपन भी लेके चलते हैं ना पौधा, क्या हो जाएगा. ओके नो प्रॉब्लम लेट्स पिक इट अप. And then the gardener there, he cautioned trespassers will be prosecuted. यहाँ पे फूल फल तोड़ना अलाउड नहीं. लॉर्ड कृष्णा said कि अभी तो मैं बताता हूँ तो. And then Indra actually attacked. You know what? Lord Krishna is so kind and gentle that even what is his eternally, he stakes claim to it कि मैं ले लेता हूँ. Let me take it. Although it belongs to him. And what is his, when he bestows it upon us, when he entrusts it upon us, we take it so seriously. We say, तुम्हारा कब था? ये तो मेरा ही है. हाँ? So Indra, where now has Indra forgotten ये आया कहाँ से था ये पारिजात ओरिजिनली. अरे वो कितना हम रगड़ रहे थे, वो भगवान ने बचाया, वो चर्निंग करवाया, उसमें से आया. That's how I am possessing this. He forgot all of that. He was convinced this parijat belongs to me only. There is no doubt. So when Lord has his vibhutis, he makes it so um, non-glamorous. कि, okay, I'm just also accepting it. Whereas when he gives one of his vibhutis to us, we become so much pumped up that we are not ready to share it with others, share it with the Supreme Lord. So this is something to be contemplated upon. Our Uddhavji says that with the position of the Yadus, he's just in the mood of devotion. He's thinking that all of us Yadus, we never really valued the position of the Supreme Lord. We thought that Krishna is one amongst the Yadus. just as the moon was produced from the churning of the milk ocean. Did you know that? The moon came out from the churning of the milk ocean at one of the stages. So the fishes inside the milk ocean, they thought this moon is also one amongst us. It is also a fish. But only when this moon went to the horizon into the sky, they realized, oh, this is not one of us. So he said, now I'm understanding after Krishna's disappearance. Yeah. So that is what is coming in the verse third to seventh. And after that, the Apsaras came, who are the you know who are the society girls in the heavenly planets. And then from the 8th to 16th verse describes the welcome and Abhishek of Lakshmi ji. So now arrives the chief star cast, Lakshmi ji. एक्चुअली ये नेक्टर निकालना तो केवल बहाना था, भगवान को अपना स्वयंवर कराना था. So he wanted to just get an excuse to get married. So he created all of this big pastime, and the right in the middle, just as in the Bhagavad Gita, कर्म योगा बोला, ज्ञान योगा बोला, सब बोला, लेकिन उनका what he wanted to speak is bhakti yoga, तो वो बीच में. So in this entire churning of milk ocean, there's a lot of things before, lot of things after. The main subject matter is Lakshmi Swamvar, Lakshmi marrying Lord Vishnu. That's it. That is the nectar. यही है. Don't think that the nectar will come at the end. This is the nectar. The meeting of Radha and Krishna, the meeting of Sita Ram, the meeting of Lakshmi Narayan. Right? So that is the nectar which is available for devotees. So it describes that how when Lakshmi ji appears, she appeared like electricity, surpassing the lightning that might illuminate a marble mountain. So beautiful. When lightning strikes a mountain, it is so uh, glittering and electrifying. But when that lightning will strike a marble mountain, marble is already white. How enlightening would that be? So that is the luster of Lakshmi ji. And because of her exquisite beauty, her bodily features, youth and complexion, and her glories, everyone, including the demigods, demons, and human beings, desired her. They were attracted because she is the source of all opulences. Prabhupada writes, who in this world does not want to possess wealth, beauty, and social respectability that come from these opulences? Everyone desired getting attracted by the beauty and features and youthfulness and opulences of Lakshmi Devi. So Chakravarti Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that Lakshmi ji had appeared in two forms. One form is the Shriya, another form is Rama. As Shriya, she is the goddess of fortune. Shri means opulences. Shriya is the goddess of all opulences. And Rama is one who gives pleasure to her consort, Vishnu. So Rama Manam, Iti Rama. So she is the one who gives pleasure to Vishnu. So who is the chaste wife of the Supreme Lord, who is Jagata Jananya, who is the mother of the entire creation. So Lakshmi appeared in two forms. One is the Shriya form and another is the Rama form. And both of these forms merged together. So the ordinary people were attracted to the Shriya form, the form of all opulences. However, the devotees, they were attracted to the Rama form as recognizing, oh, she is the mother. She is our mother, right? So some people saw Lakshmi with the eyes of enjoyment, while others saw Lakshmi with the eyes of service, right? Shriya and Rama. And that's a reality everywhere. So the form of Rama is not visible and accessible to impure souls. And that's why when you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells to that, uh, I think the Kurma Brahmana, that Brahmana who was lamenting that how uh, Lord Sita was separated from Ram, and then Lord brings this uh, passage from the Kurma Purana which mentions that actually Ravan never kidnapped, you know, the real Sita. He kidnapped Maya Sita. Maya Sita is the Shriya form, but the Rama form was actually invisible to Ravan. He could never lay his hands over her. And so when the Agni Pariksha happened, actually, you know, that Rama form was which came out actually. So so people like Ravana, they are interested in enjoying Lakshmi alone without Vishnu. And that's when Lakshmi takes the form of Shriya and not Rama. But when one wants to worship Lakshmi with Narayan, Sita with Ram, then she takes the form of Rama and Shriya both. So both material and spiritual opulences are showered on someone who approaches the Lord and her consort together. And actually, when we talk of Shriya, any vibhuti, now she's the goddess of all vibhutis, all opulences. Any vibhuti we see anywhere in this world, anyone who has beauty, anyone who has intelligence, anyone who has some prowess, we should know it is a blessing of Mother Lakshmi. Yeah? And because of the mother of blessing of Mother Lakshmi, this person has become attractive. And if we want to enjoy that person or that thing for ourselves, we should realize there's a Ravana sitting inside. Yeah. So the desire to enjoy not only it's not that Ravana is one who wanted to abduct Sita. बस वही एक रावण था नहीं anyone who wants who has a desire to separately enjoy any uh, prakriti. So Lord is only Purusha. Rest everything and everyone is Prakriti. Hmm? And the mother of all Prakriti, like the Prakriti personified is Lakshmi Devi. So when we want to enjoy even an aspect of that Prakriti, we are indirectly wanting to enjoy Lakshmi herself directly. Right? So that seed of Ravana is there. Hmm? So when we look at anything, any opulence, we should realize that this is a reflection of Mother Lakshmi and try to see that as sacred, as an object to be engaged in the Lord's service, as something which is the whole proprietorship of whom belongs to Krishna. So with that mood, we should see everything, anything and everything which has got some attractive potency, rather than enjoying it. Let us think about how we can engage this Shakti in Krishna's service. Let us join the Shakti with the Shaktiman rather than usurping the Shakti for ourselves. Yes, Prabhu. Fall through.
Like, earlier, I think in one of the classes you described like the soul's nature to be Satchit Ananda. So Ananda is bliss, right?
Yes.
So if the soul is in search of bliss, does that coincide with the search for enjoyment?
Okay. So there are gradations of Ananda. There is Jadananda, which is the pleasures of this body. All the spectrum of the pleasure which this body can provide, from the tiny pleasure of scratching the itch to the whatever sex pleasure, whatever. So all of those pleasures, eating pleasure, everything is comes under Jadananda. Then beyond, higher than that, is Gandharvananda. Then higher than that is Deva Ananda. These are thousands of times multiplied. Yeah. So then thousands of times more than Deva Ananda, what the pleasure which the Devatas enjoy is the pleasure of Indra. and millions of times more is the pleasure of the sages in the Satyaloka and Tapaloka. And then billions and billions of times is the Brahmananda. And billions of times or infinite number of times is the pleasure of Sevananda, the pleasure of serving the Supreme Lord. Right? So it's all pleasure, but what uh, what quantum are we talking of? That is what matters. And the pleasure, even the pleasure in this world, Krishna says, the verse which you प्राक शरीर नहीं यही संस्पर्श यही संस्पर्श जब होगा दुख यो नहीं होते. Even the pleasure in this world is actually the womb of pain, right? So that's PAIN sure, not PLEA sure. That's what it is. Pain sure. Okay, so now, so Lakshmi ji now was Indra came and offered her an asana. He offered a beautiful asana to Lakshmi ji to sit down, and actually this is a perfect procedure for deity worship. If you want to do deity worship, whenever actually on a festival day we do whatever we do will be done here. On a festival day, the deity Abhishek happens, right? Because that is the day when the Lord appears. So when Narsingh Chaturdashi, Narsingh Dev's Abhishek happens, right? On Janmashtami, Lord Krishna's, Bal Gopal's Abhishek will happen, right? Or Radha Krishna's Abhishek will happen. So the appearance day of the Lord and his Abhishek happens. So now Lakshmi ji has appeared and Abhishek must happen. But before the Abhishek, Idam Asanam, you have to give a seat. So here in the 10th verse it is described, Indra brought a suitable sitting place for the goddess of fortune, Idam Asanam. So, uh, Swagatam Suswagatam. We first welcome them, Swagatam. We offer them a seat. And then after that, uh, procedures are done. They are given Padyam to wash their legs, Arghyam, wash their face, Achmaniam, then Madhuparka, to refreshment. Some refreshment is given ना, बाहर से कोई आया तो थोड़ा कुछ ठंडा drink, nice drink you offer. So Madhuparka is given. Then Punarachmaniyam, you want to uh, just wash your mouth. And then Snaniyam, Abhishek begins. So Abhishek begins. Now who will do Abhishek of Lakshmi ji? Ganga and Yamuna personally came and brought water in golden pots, personally in their own hands. Can you imagine? Ganga Devi is carrying Ganga water in a golden pot in her own hands to do Abhishek of Mother Lakshmi. So Ganga and Yamuna are personally coming. And then Bhumi Devi personified herself to bring all the herbs, right? Because when Abhishek is done, you do from water, and then you do fruit juices, you do kesar, different types of herbs and etc. Flavored waters you do Abhishek with. So actually, Bhumi Devi personally brought her choicest of elements and herbs and fruits and made juices. And personally, Bhumi Devi is doing Abhishek of Lakshmi ji. And then the cows, the Surbi cows personified, they provided the Panchagavya, the milk, yogurt, ghee, cow dung, cow urine for the purpose of Abhishek. And Vasanta Ritu personified came up with all the fruits which are produced in Vasanta Ritu. Vasanto Madhu Madhavo. So all the fruits and also the madhu, the honey, which is especially produced in the spring season. So with all of this honey and fruit juices and everything, the Abhishek is happening and Kirtan is going on, right? And beautiful darshan is there. And then while the Abhishek is going on, the sages are supposed to chant mantras. So Rishaya Kalpayam Chakrur Abhishekam Yatha Vidhi Jagur Bhadrani Gandharva Natyascha Nanrutu Jagu. So while the Abhishek is happening, ceremony is happening, the sages are performing, are singing various mantras and doing various rituals, and the Gandharvas are they are singing kirtans, they are chanting various Vedic mantras, and there are dancers who are dancing, and they are singing authorized songs from the songbook. So now, when the singing and dancing is happening, there must be mridanga players also, right? You must have mridanga players and the kartal players. So who is playing the mridanga? The clouds with their rumbling are playing Ja Guru Guru, Ja Guru Guru, Guru Guru, Ja Guru Guru, Ja Guru Guru. So the clouds are personally playing mridangas. The clouds in the personified forms beat various types of drums known as mridangas, panavas, murajas, anakas. And they also blew conchs and bugles known as gomukhas and played flutes and stringed instruments. The combined sound of these instruments was tumultuous. Can you imagine? The Lakshmi Janmotsav festival, first time in the history happening. The grand Lakshmi Ji's Abhishek is happening, and the elephants from all the directions. There are elephants who are supporting the Bhumandala. So from all the directions, all of these elephants came with jugs of Ganga water in their trunk, and they bathed Lakshmi Ji personally. So while all of this bathing is going on, Prabhupada writes, the goddess of fortune maintained her original style. What is her original style? Very delicately holding a lotus flower in her hand. Why is he holding this lotus flower? To offer it to? Why is Radharani holding that garland in her hand? To offer it to Krishna. Lakshmi Ji is holding this flower to offer it to her beloved Narayan. Right? So she is holding this flower. The goddess's fortune is the most chaste, for she does not know anyone but the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shriyam Padmakaram Satim. She has this form of Sati. But not everyone can see her as Sati, as Rama. People see her as Shriya. Oh, she is the one who can provide me all wealth and opulences. And therefore, on Diwali, people worship only Lakshmi. That is, on Diwali, when Lord Ram is coming, we are making a statement to Lord Ram. हम भी रावण हैं, हम भी कम नहीं, हमें भी केवल लक्ष्मी चाहिए, तुम साइड में हटो, right? You know, that is how ridiculous things can become, that the entire mass of a nation who has been reading Ramayana doesn't realize that they have missed the point. What is the point of Ramayana? The point of this festival is to bring Sita and Ram together. And what are we doing? Only Sita, right? So now Lakshmi ji will be, um, Lakshmi ji is now receiving all of this Abhishek. And after the Abhishek is done, what is done? The deity is taken and then dressed and decorated very nicely. So Lakshmi ji will now be decorated and dressed nicely. Who is bringing her gold embroidered dress? अभी जब uh, there is marriage ceremony to be performed, so the father of the bride, he purchases the costly embroidered dress, right? So who is the father of Lakshmi ji? Varuna, the ocean god. So the 15th verse describes that the ocean, which is the source of all valuable jewels, supplied the upper and lower portions of a yellow silken garment. So silken garment, the jewels say embroidered heaven, because ocean has all the jewels and pearls. So he is personally getting the best of the dress for his daughter Lakshmi, decorating her. And the predominating deity of water, Varuna, presented flower garlands surrounded by six-legged bumblebees drunken with honey. So he's decorating and dressing her. He has got the honors to dress and decorate his daughter. And Vishwakarma supplied varieties of decorated ornaments. The goddess of learning supplied a necklace. Brahmaji supplied a lotus flower, and the inhabitants of Nagloka supplied earrings. तो एक बार ड्रेसिंग हो गया, उसके बाद में फिर ऑर्नामेंट्स. यस प्रभु जी, लक्ष्मी नारायण सेवा आप करते हुए मेडिटेट कर सकते हैं.
Yes.
Yeah. And thereafter, Mother Lakshmi, having been properly celebrated with an auspicious ritualistic ceremony, began moving about, holding in her hand a garland of lotus flowers, which was surrounded by humming bumblebees. Smiling with shyness, her cheeks decorated by her earrings, she looked extremely beautiful. As she walked here and there, her ankle bells jingling softly, she appeared like a creeper of gold. And this is the last verse we'll read for today. While walking among the Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, Siddhas, Charanas, and denizens of heaven, Lakshmi Devi was scrutinizingly examining them, but she could not find anyone naturally endowed with all good qualities. None of them was devoid of faults, and therefore she could not take shelter of any of them. So the word here used is in the 17th verse, Chachala. Lakshmi Devi started moving around. She is Chanchala. She is always moving around. ये है क्या? ये no one is a fit candidate to receive me. Hmm? So everyone wants to give Lakshmi ji shelter. सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, कष्ट मिटे तन का. Everyone wants सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, but Lakshmi ji is just no, no. You are also not fit. So while she is scrutinizing, observing, a person becomes a billionaire and a trillionaire and the richest man in Asia and the world and this and that, and by the time she walks away, वो व्यक्ति is gone and forgotten, right? So she is just moving about. And what to speak of humans? She could not even find a suitable, uh, match among the Gandharvas, Yakshas, Siddhas, Charanas, Devatas, sages, everyone she saw. So we will discuss now in the next session from the verse 21 onwards, 20th onwards, that why is it that she could not find anyone who could be worthy of her, mm, you know, to be a worthy shelter or be worthy of her blessing, right? Why could not she find anyone in that entire assembly? So she does a very, thorough assessment, on all parameters. जैसे रिक्रूटमेंट पे एचआर कंपनी करती है ना, साइकोमेट्रिक टेस्ट एंड एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट, सब टेस्ट कर लिए लक्ष्मी जी ने. कैरेक्टर कॉम्पिटेंस सबको कुंडली निकाल दिया. ये कैरेक्टर में ठीक है, कॉम्पिटेंस बेकार है. कॉम्पिटेंस ठीक है, कैरेक्टर नहीं है तो फिर उसका कैरेक्टर ही ढीला है. कैरेक्टर कॉम्पिटेंस है, but in small quantity. Character and competence in good quantity, but short lived, right? Not forever. So she analyzed everyone. And right. So that we will discuss in the next class, that how she observed each and every one and came to this conclusion. That we'll see in our next class. Any questions or discussion points or reflections?
So one of the internal reasons of the appearance is Lord Ram, an entrance into the forest was to spend personal time with Mother Sita. So
yes,
the word Ramayana was for that purpose.
Okay, drew a parallel. That is entire Samudra Manthan was done for this swayamvar to happen, and whereas Ramayana, the whole Ramayana का महाभारत इसलिए हुआ कि ताकि Sita and Ram could spend quality time together.
You mentioned in your recap that every profession has some flaws, right? So how could they be corrected? Because there are, no? So whatever flaws are there, how do we ensure that they are, minimized or corrected?
Yes. So the point of discussion is that just many times we are discouraged from taking up a task or a profession or a work because there are certain faults in it, because there is something which is undesirable or uncomfortable in it, right? So the one discussion was that we should not give up the work just because there is something which is in that work. If it is our dharma, if it is prescribed as our dharma, then by doing that activity, the faults of that activity and our own faults will gradually be um, eliminated. Now, in the Vedic culture, um, realizing that there are faults and flaws and shortcomings and
Prabhuji, your
offenses.
voice is not coming properly. It's like breaking and disturbances there.
अच्छा, अभी तक आ रहा था.
When you like allowed unmute to everyone, उसके बाद से ही breaking अभी भी breakage आ रहा है. Like disturbance आ रहा है, breakage नहीं है, disturbance.
Okay. Okay, so let me know if now it is clear. So basically, in the Vedic culture, acknowledging that there are these faults and
Still
flaws and
disturbance है
offenses.
Prabhuji.
Shubhangi, Tanmay, are you able to hear clearly?
यस प्रभु जी, बीच में
Yes,
थोड़ा ब्रेक हुआ
Prabhuji.
था.
Okay, okay, ठीक है. So, so what I was saying, that therefore there are the Panch Shuno Yagyas, that understanding that while that when we are performing the grasta duties, there will be violence towards the animals, hmm? There will be violence towards other living entities. So therefore, there are different yagyas which are performed to atone for these kind of um, sins that are invariably performed while discharging your prescribed duty also. So there is atonement which is prescribed, and even in the case of Vyadha, that the butcher, the Dharma Vyadha. So there's a discussion between Dharma Vyadha and Vishwamitra. So where actually Vishwamitra is sent by a lady that if you want to understand what is Dharma, go and meet Dharma Vyadha. So he goes and meets Dharma Vyadha and he says that how is it that you are such a knower of Dharma, being in such a sinful profession? So he says that okay, this profession has come to me by as per my dharmic duty, but there are a number of things which I do before and after I perform my occupational duty of selling meat. There are a number of things which people don't know. He gives a list. He says that first of all, I personally don't consume. I just am selling it because that is something which is coming to me by my lineage. And then he says that I perform a lot of atonement afterwards. And then he says a number of dharmic activities which he does otherwise. So while we understand that we might have to invariably perform, we also need to compensate for them, like think of ways by which we can make up for those invariable lies or you know things that we may do. So, and anyways, we can always chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Shivangi. Yes.
Prabhuji, I have a doubt.
Please go ahead.
You said that we should perform our dharma, and I want to ask what is the like definition for dharma? What is dharma that we should follow?
Okay. Thank you for bringing it back to the basics. uh, so dharma, like the word dharma comes from the Sanskrit root dhr, hmm, from the same word which from which dharti comes, which dharan. So dharan karna yani to sustain karna. So dharma comes from the dhatu dhr, which means which sustains, which holds, right? So Mother Earth, it sustains all forms of life. It holds everyone in its place. Everything and everyone in its place. If everyone jumps to, they have to come down because Earth is something which holds, right? So dharma in that sense has the quality. Dharma is that activity or that surrounding or that environment which has the quality of giving you grounding, giving you shelter, giving you sustenance, isn't it? So, so your dharma, which means your activity and your environment, hmm, should be something which gives you grounding, sustenance, and satisfaction, right? Because this is what Mother Earth gives us. She gives us grounding. hmm, you, it is Earth which gives us support, right? So it is Earth which gives us sustenance, and it is Earth which gives us satisfaction, support, sustenance, satisfaction, right? So your dharma should also be something which gives you support, hmm, which means that doing that activity gives a structure to your life, right? It should give you sustenance. It's something which will help you earn your livelihood, and satisfaction, that which will give you an inner satisfaction of doing something, contributing in a worthwhile way. So, and there are two types of dharmas which are recommended in the scriptures. One is the Varnashram dharma, and another is the Sanatan dharma. Varnashram dharma is the dharma of the body. Sanatan dharma is the dharma of the soul. So our conditional dharma and the constitutional dharma. So as per the current condition of mind and body in which we are there, we have a dharma to perform. That which will sustain, support our current material body and mind. And there is a spiritual constitutional position, hmm, according to which we have a dharma, which will sustain, support, and nourish our spiritual um, aspect, right? So um, fortunately, the spiritual dharma is very straightforward. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu is something which is universally applicable for everyone. So that's very clear. But now, as far as the bodily dharma is there, the varnashram dharma, that is where there can be some doubt sometimes, or all the time. Yeah, but we can reflect on something which we are good at doing, which gives us support and structure to our life, and which gives us satisfaction, which we like doing, which we are good at doing, which we like doing, and which uh, can get us some livelihood, support, sustenance, and satisfaction. So these three things, if some work gives us or some environment gives us, that is our dharma. To be in that environment, to do that work. These are some thoughts, Shubhangi, on dharma.
Swadharma is a combination of both.
Swadharma, Swadharma api chaveksha, as Krishna says. So Swadharma uh, can refer to both the material dharma and the spiritual dharma, both. So for the spiritual, Swadharma is as per what is your Guru Datta seva. Whatever seva the Guru has given us, whatever instruction Guru has given us, that is our Svar Dharma as per the spiritual aspect. And for the material aspect, whatever body and mind Krishna has given us, to act in accordance with that is our material Swadharma.
Just very constant.
I just we are just scratching the surface, like much more which we, if someone expert can share. Okay, thank you all very much for joining us, and we are delighted to discuss this wonderful pastime, and we really had uh, the nectar, which is actually going to unfold even more as the Swamvar will happen, the marriage is going to happen. So we'll meet next week again on Friday. Hare Krishna. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sai Gau Premanandi.
Hey, hey,